Yeah, so no, normally like I usually go a little bit heavier, but like right now I'm just pushing the volume. Like probably like 25 sets, maybe 30, but I'm not going
Damn.
crazy on the weight. Yeah, like so I'm pushing volume pretty heavy right now. A lot of building up like pyramid style sets with like a back off, but not, going above probably like 80% of what I normally train at as far as weight is concerned. So, I've been having some really
Oh,
good training sessions. So the bounce back is going real well, but I do feel strong. I'm just trying to make sure I don't end up tweaking something.
damn, yeah. Well, I usually don't do intros for the podcast, but in case anybody doesn't know, this is Devon Barnes. He just won the Nationals super heavy and overall, all right?
Well, it's Devon actually. I've been wanting to clear that up
Oh,
with
I'm sorry.
everybody.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
You
yeah.
said Devon.
Devon, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because if you don't correct it now, it's gonna take a life
He's
of its
gonna just
own.
take over forever. Yeah. So Devon Barnes, but I appreciate you. Yeah.
But yeah, you're not gonna be able to. If you don't change it now, that's it. You're gonna be stuck to Devon.
Thanks.
yeah, but okay. Was that your second? Was that your second nationals you've done?
So I've done three national shows, but not
Oh
NPC
yeah, you're right.
nationals. Yeah.
You're right because you did North Americans that last year as well, right?
Yeah. So I did USA's with you. We both competed in that one. And then I did
Yeah.
North Americas last year as well. Then I did nationals this year.
Okay. So it's okay. Here's the thing, right? I think because we're in a social media era, if your social media presence isn't strong, nobody sees you coming. That's just not right.
That's the fact. Yeah.
And it could be the opposite. You could be like a decent bodybuilder and maybe not a real contender. But if your social media is buzzing enough, you're gonna get some buzz regardless, right?
You will, for
So
sure. Yes.
yeah. So I'm sure most of the channels guys are like, oh wow, who's this guy? I didn't see him coming. Whereas I could tell you for us as the super backstage, we was looking at you like, damn, if this dude is well, I can't tell if he's straight. If he's in shape, I mean he could beat us all, right? So like the people in it knows who can who can win, right?
Right,
Who
right,
has
right.
because you gotta have something there, regardless if you have the tissue or you're in shape. That you can come. That comes in time. If you have the structure and muscle belly and all that, that's what you can't buy. That's what you can't work on.
Right,
So
right.
that has to be there for you to So we look at that and we see it. Now, shit, it doesn't matter if you could be dead last. We know that whenever you put it together, you're gonna win, right? Because if you have the
Right.
eye, you can see that. So it's funny because if you probably go by, but you got did you get third at North Americans?
Yeah.
Okay, so going by your placings, you did move up quite a bit from USA to North American, but still, I don't feel like people were like, "Oh, this guy's a contender to win the nationals," per se, right?
Nah,
You know,
nah.
I
No,
think
they didn't see me coming. They were
no,
sleeping a little
no.
bit.
I think me and Compton. I think we prefaced from right now from the pictures. It looked like Trey was ahead as far as size and condition, but pictures, man. And in your picture, I didn't see a back picture, so I couldn't tell. I'm like, well, the front looks in shape, but until I see the back, it's hard to tell. So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
pictures don't really tell you anything, man.
Well, this is the other thing too, man. The whole time I was backstage, I mean, I probably had 15 people plus tell me like, bro, you are way bigger in person than you look on camera. Right?
That's facts.
Like,
Yeah, that's
and so I
facts.
was like, well, yeah, when you have shape and structure, right? Like, small joints, round muscle bellies, you see the small waist. It's really hard without scaling it to something to know what that stature is going to really look like. You know what I
It's
mean?
impossible. Yeah, it's
And
impossible.
that's
Yeah,
the thing.
yeah.
So, well, like Trey's a big dude. Like he's just large all around. It was
Mhm.
like, but what you couldn't see was like comparatively, I actually have a broader clavicle. Like,
Oh
plus
yeah,
I
you
have
do.
a
You do.
smaller waist, right? I have
Mhm.
more quad sweep, but you couldn't scale us because we weren't next to each other, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
so that was the big deal. And then I was coming in shape. I knew we were going to bring the detail like way more than I ever had before, especially from behind. Glutes. My hamstrings actually get really hard. The glutes are something I'm still going to be working on going to my next show. But
Mhm.
I think that's more just tissue at this point. We know how to get dialed in and bring the condition, but more tissue. So I pushed out against the skin more, shows more lines. Uh, but that was something I realized. A lot of people, even backstage, were like, even Trey. As a matter of fact, we were talking going up to 10 and we were on the escalator together. And he was
Mhm.
like, bro, you are way freakier in person. Like, we see you got great shape, but like, this is a whole different thing. So definitely pictures don't tell the whole story.
When you have shape, nobody's nobody looks at you as a as like somebody like a mass monster, right? Like let's say if you are a mass monster, right? Let's say you step on stage 300 pounds. Everybody's gonna
Mhm.
be like you're a shape guy, but you're 300 pounds, right? So
But
like
you're
we think
huge. Yeah.
like Samson and Andrew, we consider them shape guys. No, that's a shape guy. Motherfucker, they're bigger than everybody though, too, right? So
Yeah.
when guys say, "Yeah, I feel
Exactly.
like these days maybe they give it more to shape," I'm like, "How you figure the shape guys still have to be 300 pounds?" So, well, what are we talking about?
Right.
They don't all of a sudden change the criteria for people. The criteria is always there. If a shape guy is big enough and hard enough, he's always gonna win. It's just that a
Yeah.
lot of the times nobody has it all. So usually a shape guy might not be as hard or might not be as filled out, you know.
Right.
But the criteria never changes. Just because Derek wins or Samson or Andrew wins, it doesn't mean the criteria is shifting. They just finally brought enough size and or condition. That's it.
Yep. Exactly. I agree with that
Yeah.
entirely. Because that was another thing. Like, I knew I wasn't going to be small in the lineup, period. Like, I knew that wasn't going to be the issue. But again, I think a lot of people were sleeping on that because, I mean, I'm around all the same people. My gym community, they see me every day. So they just like,
Yeah.
Devon, this is how he look all the time. Right.
Mhm.
I see myself every day and I'm like, I can't compare to nobody. I ain't seen nobody in person either. You
You
know?
don't know.
So,
You don't
but I
know.
did know like we were going to be bigger than last year by a large margin. We put so much more tissue on that wasn't really a concern of mine. I was pretty big on stage last year, even. So I was
Mhm.
like, if we're coming back with more tissue, we shouldn't have a size problem, which is where me and my coach had to have a talk where it was like, okay, I know we want to be full, but let's err on the side of caution. If we 80% full, but we just bring condition, we're going to have enough tissue.
That's it.
Like,
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. I also say this, right? This doesn't always apply, nothing set in stone, but more times than not, let's say 8 times out of 10, if, let's say, how do I say this? If you're, if you're a shape guy, let's say, and you have really good potential, I believe, especially, I believe you're judged harder, especially if glutes is not like your strong point as far as definition, right? Because
100%.
we talk, so if we talk about detail, every part of the body detail matters, right? But let's say if
Right.
you have less detail in your chest or your upper back or your arms or even your abs, it's never judged as hard as if your glutes in particular. Even
Right.
if because like for you or even Samson, the hams are stripped, but just the glutes. And there's no fat. It's not like there's some jiggle in there, but
Yeah.
that area is judged harder for sure. I believe.
No, it's definitely something that's happened because, like, uh, I let the judging fall where it may, but like last year at North Americans, the guy who won, it seemed like the only places you could see detail in cross striations was his glutes and hands, right?
Exactly.
And it
Uh-huh.
was like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that that doesn't matter, but when you turn this around to the front, and I got striations in my pec all the way to my delt, and my quads are cross striated, we're not giving that the same credit. Like he's getting more credit for having glutes, but he don't got none of those striations anywhere else, you know. And so I
Exactly.
definitely saw that happen uh, more than once. So it became something that was kind of a goal of ours to like, we got to have enough lines in the glutes that they can't knock us on that.
Exactly. So I think it's a balance. I think it's still judged harder, but I think as long as you have enough, because okay, we thought Andrew's glutes this year, it didn't look like Derek, but I mean
Right.
that's been pretty fucking hard, you know.
Yeah.
So and I think that's where you were at this year. Whereas it wasn't like I think it would have been really hard to mark against that, just because
Right.
it's like, okay, it don't have to look like fucking. I mean, nobody's glutes are gonna look like Phil and Derek. Those are just that's genetic. It's just what it is. Those kind of guys, like even Joe, they got that shit in the off season. Does that mean they're fucking shredded in the off season? No, that's just how their glutes look. So I think I think it is harsher, but I also think if you're close enough there, they won't kill it. My only thing is that you shouldn't have to trade the rest of your body for one body part. I don't think that's a good
Right.
precedent, you know. So
I think that's something I hope they kind of shift on. But to your point, when you're a shape guy, and look, I even think socially, like not even just the judges. I think socially, people are a little bit salty about the fact that you got genetic shape. So they want
yeah,
you to
it's
bring
true.
everything else better because it's like when you were gifted so much with this, you're probably lazy. That's why you're not bringing enough condition. And it's like,
Exactly.
no, I'm out here working like everybody else. My condition just tends to show in other places before it gets to my glutes. You know what I mean? Like,
Shit, I would argue the opposite. Like, how many times have you been backstage and you're talking to people and they're like, I did like 10 minutes of cardio, and you thinking like, damn, you know, the guy
right.
with the crazy shredded glutes, he's like, I didn't do no cardio. I just walked my dog, you know,
Exactly my
and
point.
so like the idea that Hadi must work harder than Andrew or Samson. I don't know if Andrew, Hadi even has to do cardio because I've never seen body fat on him, you know. So,
Right.
but you look at the shape, you're like that's genetic. So is looking like Hadi. That's genetic too.
Exactly. Well,
You
where
know?
you store whole body fat is genetic. Like how you lose
Exactly.
body fat, you can't spot reduce. We talk. All trainers and coaches have had this conversation with a client before. I want shredded abs. You can't just shred your abs. You just got to lose body fat everywhere until your abs where you want them. Like
Exactly.
so, we
Shit.
all did
And
it. Like
body.
my glutes ain't stripped.
Mhm. And then body fat in general, the same way you see some of the best conditioned guys like a Martin. Oh, I'm tired of eating. My food is too high, even in the prep, right? So it's kind of like it's not directly linked to hard work. It's like it sounds cooler. I mean, it would be dope if it was because believe me, we've been doing a lot of cardio this whole time, but it's not directly linked. Like whoever does more cardio and starves more is the most shredded guy. No, most of the time, from my experience and my clients, it's actually the opposite. It's actually the
Mhm.
complete opposite. But I mean, it is what it is. I don't think. I mean, we can't complain about it because everybody has their strengths and weaknesses. But I definitely noticed that's Judge Harder. Same happened to Anthony, A Train.
Mhm.
When he won
Yep.
the honor, it was kind of like, he could be harder from the back. And I'm like, okay, let's play both sides. Okay, he could be harder from the glutes and hams. But them motherfuckers could have bigger fucking arms. Them motherfuckers could be 280. Them motherfuckers could be harder
Right.
from the front. So we gonna say that one thing should trump everything. What about everything else? They need to look more like him. Is what I'm thinking. Not the other way
Right.
around. Well, respectfully. So you can't just take one thing like they do it with Derek. Oh, the biceps. You take one body part and then magnify it. What about everything else, bro? Everything else is
So
Rennie's.
this is where I think, and this is just a theory of mine. I've had this conversation with a few different people. I just think that we need to, I say need to loosely. I'm not trying to tell the powers that be how to do anything.
Yeah.
But if they were to give us like a breakdown of which one is valued higher for each class, I think it would clear up a lot of the controversy between all of this. Like for
Mm-hmm.
bodybuilding, let's say like what's bodybuilding? So muscularity's first, condition second, shape is third. That's how you're going to play it. I'm not saying that should be the order of operations, but let's just say each one of those things, if you're winning in that category, is worth a little bit more than the other. For example, though, if it was classic, maybe for classic, shape got to be first, then
Mm-hmm.
condition, then muscularity, so we can score in a way to make it make sense. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that way I can go, well, you know what? I was still the biggest guy. So, like, okay, cool. But this guy was a little more conditioned than me, but I smoked him in shape. And so the balance ended up being that I was still ahead, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I know
we
what
can
you mean.
kind of get just a basic idea. I'm not saying we got to literally put a point to it, but I think that that would help a lot because right now it's just like you say, well, condition is king or whatever, but it's like it is till it's not. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. See, it feel like the best way to go about it is nothing should be king. Everything should be weighed, right? But even different levels of competition is just slightly different. Because if you think about it, right,
that's true.
we've seen at the national level a conditioned guy win with not a good structure, not good shape, and maybe not even the best muscularity. You will
Right.
never see that at the Olympia. At the Olympia,
No, that's fact.
you know, let's go to pro shows, right? I'm saying those respectfully, it's just an example, but I want to give a relatable example. Somebody like Ross Flanagan can beat Tonio at the Cal. At the Olympia, that won't happen because he's going to need more size. Tonio isn't the biggest guy, but he projects as the big guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you could take a local show and you can have like a. Trying to think of condition guys. We've had Roman Fritz win shows. We've had guys who are peeled but don't necessarily have the craziest, size. But at the Olympia, it always flips. The bigger guys jump right back over them, right? Not big and soft, we're not saying, but we're just saying without the size, nothing else matters at the Olympia level. You have to
Right.
have ultimate Olympia size, right? But even at the pro ranks compared to the amateurs, if you don't have the size, you don't even get looked at sometimes, right?
Correct.
That's why some people make better pros, some people make better amateurs. Cody Montgomery, a guy crazy shape and conditioning, amateur, he's flawless. You go to the pros, they're just like, you're just not big enough, right? A guy like you,
Yeah, to Arnold.
yeah, a guy like you and Anthony with your size and shape, I think you're gonna make even better pros than you were amateurs. You
For
know,
sure.
that's how I
Well,
look
because
at it.
that's the thing too. To your point, because literally, I said the same thing to my buddy at the gym. I got a guy I do a podcast with as well. Real quick plug there, Iron on a podcast. Go check that out if y'all get a chance. It's linked on my Instagram on IMD Fitness. But me and him were talking.
Is
It's
that
just
your
like,
podcast?
yeah, yeah, it's our
Okay.
podcast we do. It's all about biblical masculinity. We got some good stuff out. We just getting rolling just a few months ago, so be
Fire,
patient with us.
fire.
But it's got some good stuff out there for sure.
Oh yeah.
Um, So yeah, but we were just talking about this. They care more about conditioning at the amateur level, going pro, like at national shows,
For
than
sure.
they do at the pro level for certain. Because I mean, I feel like I honestly, after looking at my videos and my photos, I had comparable conditioning with a lot of pros that I was like, I could stand next to them on conditioning right now, but I
Mm-hmm.
felt like for that, even though I did win the show, I was like, I could be more conditioned. Because I saw guys there that were like in certain areas were a little tighter. So I'm like, but which one are they looking for? What I will say in this case was, like I said, if you could bring conditioning within range, though, which is my biggest goal, I didn't want to sacrifice any tissue or any
Mm-hmm.
size anywhere just to bring the glutes.
Yeah.
But I did need to have some lines there. So especially from the side, turning around from behind, that's a little tougher. Like I said, I think I need some more tissue, but I even
Mm-hmm.
brought some there. And so I think that's what closed the deal for me. It was just bringing the whole package. And I want to encourage that because this is something that I'm personally, as a shape guy, like
Mm-hmm.
I want to see more of at the pro level. I want to see more complete physiques.
Yeah,
So I
straight up.
do.
Yeah.
I want to see, and not being hyper judgmental. These are the best in the world, guys. Look, I'm not telling y'all that y'all are the best to do anything, but
Mm-hmm.
uh, I want to see Andrew with more hamstring drop. You know what I'm saying? I
Mm-hmm.
want to see Sampson with, for his stature, wider back from the front and from the back, right? I want to
Mm-hmm.
see Quentin bring his back up, even get off the black guys, even like Urge, for example, need a ton of back, like bring that up. I want to see people bring these complete physiques because right now what we're seeing is like the tall guys that are really big dudes who are actually now bringing closer and closer conditioning, getting slept on because we're missing a muscle group. And I just wanted to bring all the pieces together. We're like on the cusp of us having like a breakthrough across the
Yeah.
board, who I'm
Shit.
excited for that to be a part of that.
Shit. Let's call a spade, right? When it comes to, I go to amateur shows. I compete in amateur shows. I go to pro shows, and I have more pro friends than amateur friends. I see all these people all the time. I would argue the amateurs a lot of the times come in better shape than the pros because they have to. Even
Yep.
even the same people, I can point out the same bodybuilder and say him as an amateur was more peeled than when he was a pro, right?
Right.
Because it's a different ball game. The Nationals is like 90s. They're okay with you being a little flat if you're shredded enough. Pro ranks, you can't show a flat. You cannot show a flat. And then when I have pro friends, right, I didn't get why they were like that. They're always like, I'm flat, I'm flat. It's like a thing. I'm like, bro, relax. It's because I'm an amateur. So now I'm starting to see it. You can't, if you're flat, you just look so small compared to these guys. If you're full, it changes the game up. So they have to be, and when you're that full, you can't be amateur pro. That's like, well, classic guys are in better shape. The body fat might be similar, but they look in better shape because they're flatter, right? So you're gonna see
Right.
more
Right. Right.
detail when you're flat. After 1,000 carbs, you're not gonna have the same detail, you know.
Right. 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 Right.
So yeah, but
Well,
people don't. Go ahead.
But do you think that is because, and this usually, because there was some pretty big guys at this show, but like, do you think that's because at the amateur level, with there being so many divisions, that there just aren't as many big guys? So like, they're looking for something else to like to differentiate. Because right now, you said like, because I'm thinking like at the pro level, you have to because everybody's big, like everybody's big. But at the
Yeah,
amateur level, are they maybe not wanting to give too much credence to the guy just being bigger?
I think they want to make sure that when you hit the pro ranks, you're ready to be a professional, because size can always come, but your
Okay,
presentation, condi- knowing that these guys have the structure, presentation, and can get in shape is a better way to fill your pro ranks, to say this guy's big, turn pro. Because you don't want to turn around and have a bunch of big guys who can't get in shape and can't pose and can't present themselves,
that's fair.
right?
That's fair.
At least, yeah, at least you can say this guy has everything. All he needs is size. We can wait. We can wait 5 years and let you get big if we want to.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
it's been working. You see Derek Lewis return pro, you're like, he's not that big, but everything's there. And guess what? He's gonna get bigger. So you just keep
Yep, and
getting
he
bigger.
has. Yeah,
So that's an easier way to go. If all you need is size, okay, then we can work with that. If you turn pro and then now you got to fix all this other shit, then it's kind of like, we got all these pros
yeah.
that don't know how to get in shape.
You
So
can't get in shape. You don't know how to pose. You can't hold a pose for 3 seconds. Nothing.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no. They definitely worked us on that too, boy. They had us posing for like 5 minutes straight.
Yeah, yeah. But we
So
talked about, if they know you have potential, they'll be hard. They'll be hard on you. They'll be. I would argue. I would argue both amateur and pro ranks, but even more so amateur ranks. Let's give an example. You did USA's, right?
mhm.
So for you USA's, I push condition way too hard, and in my opinion, I look like shit. Even though my condition didn't shine through, you could tell I was in shape. Even though some body parts look soft because I'm flat, right? They placed me ahead of you. I don't think I
Mhm.
should have been ahead of you, right? Because I think overall you still presented a better package. But they were trying to send a message to you. You have to be in better shape. They're like, Beatty's in shape, even though he kind of looks like shit. We can see we can see the glute and hamstring lines. So we're gonna give it a
Yes.
man anyway. That's to make, but it works because what did you do? You said, okay, I'm gonna come in better shape and do North Americans, and then they
And I
saw that and they're
did,
like,
and then
okay,
I jumped some placements. Yeah.
exactly. And then you put on muscle and came in shape again, and then you won. So it's sometimes it feels like you didn't say anything, you didn't complain about it, but I'm sure in the back of your head you were like, okay, maybe I'm not in the best shape, but I'm sure you felt like you could have been higher. I'm sure you felt that, right?
No, I definitely did. No, I felt that way for sure. And even, I mean, I'll be honest with you, even at North Americans, because that was still
I
my
can see that.
that
Yeah.
was still my feedback. They just said, "Hey, when the judge says, I think you would have placed better if you were leaner and you were in third, they're saying if you were tighter, you win the show." You see what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Exactly.
So you're like, golly. But then what it did do for me was, mind you, because I was just coming back after several years off, which is another reason I was really humble about it. Because I was like, I don't actually know what level of condition they want me to be in. Like, I needed to go discover it. I needed to go figure out what it takes to get there, and be able to game plan on peaking to make that work. So, and that was my first year with my coach too. So we were really, literally coming out of nowhere, just like we're shooting in the dark on a lot of the stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
What
and then we
happened?
also had a very long season last year.
That's the important thing you said. I don't actually know the condition they want me to be in. The truth is that coming back or starting off, nobody knows. You could assume, you could say this will be the best, but until you see yourself on stage and they see you, because what they expect from everybody is slightly different. Like we said, everybody
Yes,
shows their body fat different. Everybody looks better at a different level of condition and fullness. So you don't know, neither do they, until you see it. So
exactly.
you're kind of just guessing. That could have worked. You could have came in at USA. They'd be like, you know what? That's good enough for us. You're full. You're big. You win. And then you would be like, okay, that's what they want. That's why they don't want to reward you, because they don't want that from you, right?
Exactly.
They want you to bring what they want from you, and you don't know that until you try. So you see it, you bring it another one, now no more, and then you bring it, and then you get it, you know. So you
That's exactly it. And that
exactly.
was a thing too. So I got a chance. I sent some things out to a few people beforehand, like What do y'all think I need to improve on? Whatever, whatever. And the number one thing I still got was like lower back and glutes need to be tighter. Now, granted, this was like 8 to 10 weeks out, so I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm going to come tighter. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, so I
yeah,
was just like, okay, I just wanted to know that they feel like I was bringing the right amount of muscularity, other things like that. But they say condition, I said, okay, I'll bring condition. Now, mind you, for this prep, man, I was probably 6 weeks out leaner than I was last year at any show. So I knew we were going to crush our conditioning from last year. Um, Pushed a little bit harder down, and then about 3 weeks out, we started giving me more food, letting me just kind of maintain, which was a wonderful time. Got to start pulling back on cardio about 2 weeks out. And then like we ran a mock peak at that 3 week out mark to see what we were going to be able to do. We basically ran that exact thing on the showtime. Slight deviations because my body was just eating up all the food, getting ready for the show. Actually, I couldn't keep the weight on. My body kept coming down, but we kept getting tighter and better. So we did that, and like the judges were happy with it. But I was definitely when I saw the check-ins the day before the show, I was like, okay, yeah, we're bringing it
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
There's something to be said about people who don't complain, like Ronnie Coleman said, "Why complain?"
Right?
And people who complain. People who complain don't get better. Sometimes they get worse because they think they're where they need to be already. If you're not getting the placings and you're hearing critique and you keep saying, "Oh, I was robbed," "Oh, I should have been higher," you think your physique is somewhere that it's not because you think you should be winning already. So why would you do the work it takes to get better if you think you're already the best, right? Whereas
100%.
whereas people like you see a placing, cool. I didn't hear one complaint out of you. Like I'm the one
Yeah.
saying you should have been higher. You didn't say that at the time, right? So
Yeah,
you want
no.
other people to be like, he could have been higher. You don't. I'm saying he should have beat me, right? But you want other people to complain for you. You don't want to be the one complaining. You know?
That's it, man. Look, when you really want to be your best, like this is just in life in general. I'm sure like you know this, but it's like you got to be open to constructive criticism, man. Like you got to be willing to take it on a chin and go. The marketplace gets to decide whether you're good or not. And in this
Mhm.
case, the marketplace is the judges and the judging criteria. Like
Yeah.
if they didn't put you there, you're just not there. And you can have 100 reasons for why. Hell, you can have a bunch of people behind you telling you should have won. It doesn't matter. The judges didn't say so. So go back to the judges, ask them what they want, and until you have done exactly what they've said 10 times in a row and it ain't working, you don't get to complain.
Okay, here's the thing, right? It's an opinion, but the only opinion that actually matters is the people judging the show. So I'm not saying you're wrong. Okay, people tell me, "Oh, I thought you should have been high. I thought you should have won." I believe that you believe that, and I can say I even believe that. It's irrelevant because we're not judges. So the only opinion, so I'm going by them. If okay, I think I look better than him in this show. That's cool. They don't think you look better. So focus on that. Focus on why they don't think you look better because that's the opinions that give you the trophy. So okay, now I'm gonna say why. I can say that happens to me. I'm like, I honestly, subjectively, I'm not being. I think I'm a very impartial person. I honestly I'm looking at the poses. I'm winning this pose. I'm winning this pose subjectively. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I am. But guess what? They don't think that. So why don't you think that? You could be a little bigger. Shit, I think I kind of look bigger. Okay, cool. But it doesn't matter. You want me to get bigger? I'm going to get bigger because I'm
I'm gonna
competing
be
in your
bigger.
organization. I'm not competing in my organization. I'm competing in yours. So if
Right.
that's what you see, doesn't matter what I see. I'm going to get bigger. And then, and I, like you said, if I get bigger 10 times, that's what I get. Okay, now there's nothing I can do.
Right. I gotta probably talk off my head and say this might not be for me then, because this ain't where it's happening. But I will say this is what I was really happy with because I knew what they wanted from me, and I really felt like I delivered on it. And I think they really rewarded that because when they put the scorecards out, right? Like I always stay really humble because like life has thrown me a lot of curveballs. Like I'm gonna always keep it humble. I'm gonna always
Yeah.
give God glory because that's just how I'm gonna live it.
Mhm.
But the unanimous first places and then second place and third place were only a point apart, so they were actually battling for second and third. The
Mhm.
dramatic gap between me and second that they had put on the scorecards was like, I think a message to me like you brought it, like you did all the things that we needed you to do. you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
And that was a really strong confirmation for me getting ready to go into the pro leagues, which was like, it's one thing if it was really tight, you won, and then they're like, yeah, but you really still need XYZ. Like you just happen to be the best body today versus this was definitive, like you're ready to be a pro, right?
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You also have to be careful of taking not putting too much emotion into it and being more calculated because you can listen to what they're saying, but if you take it too personal, you will overstep, which is
Yes.
in hindsight, I found myself doing that. Oh, I wasn't hard enough. I'm gonna show you hard, and then drop 20 fucking pounds. They ain't tell you to do all that. They just told you come in a
Right.
little harder. So, but you're making it too personal. And then when you do that, now they're like, oh, okay, well now you're flat. And they're like, what? What you want me to do? Come back bigger? Then you come too like calm down, take a deep
Okay.
breath.
I'm glad you said that because I'm gonna be saying controversial stuff from time to time. And these are for
Go
people that I
go.
love and I can't wait to see them do it right. I am so worried for Samson right
I
now.
know exactly because he did the other one. He did the
Yeah,
too far down. Now it sounds like
he's about to go too far the other way because he's just pissed about what they said. And I'm like, bro, you were 305 when you won. 282 was never the answer. It was
mhm.
292, maybe 295 was the answer, right? And then you went to the next show, and no disrespect to you when Martin won, because you still went too far the other direction already, getting full. If you would have came in at 290 to 295 at either one of those shows, you win everything.
Yeah. So, and then now, okay, think about it. When he won for the look they like, he wasn't trying to be the biggest guy in the world. He was actually trying to get lean. He wasn't overdoing it. So now with the mindset of let me intentionally get bigger than everybody in the world, that's not the mindset that got you the look to begin with. Right.
Nope.
So now it's just a gamble in the other direction because it's almost like a personal thing, like to prove a point. But the goal of a bodybuilding show is to win the show, not prove a point.
Exactly. But
Yeah,
like you said, if you get a little too emotional about it, that's what's going to happen to you. And this is the thing for me, and everybody's different. They have their own MO. The thing that helps me stay impartial for myself in this sport and to not take anything too personally, which I don't take anything personally in life for the most part. I just don't let myself go there, is that I don't identify with bodybuilding being who I am. I love the
exactly,
sport. I love it.
exactly.
And I'm going to do the way you do anything, the way you do everything. So I'm going to put my best into it. But I am a Christian man first. I am a father. I am a black man. I am a friend. I am a
Mhm.
brother. I am a lot of other things before bodybuilding.
Yeah,
Right.
boom.
And then so it's something I do and I plan to do very well. But if tomorrow something happened and bodybuilding was no longer in my future, I'd be heartbroken for a little bit and then I would continue my day like I need to and go take care of my
Boom.
kids and do all those other things. You know? So that's something we have to get away from too right now. It's like, hey man, bodybuilding, you're a great bodybuilder, but bodybuilding does not make up your entire person. It is a part
Mhm.
of something that you do, a part of who you are, and something that you do. So that keeps me from ever going that deep into it, right?
100%.
Oh, you don't like how I look? Hey man, that's cool because how I look is not all I am. So
Exactly. But I couldn't have said any better myself. There was a time that I believed that having too much perspective would hurt your bodybuilding because you're too smart to like harm your body. And then now, the longer I've been in the game, I'm watching it in real time, and I'm like, but if you're not scared to harm your body, you have a problem. First
yes,
of all, and then I'm watching and I'm seeing what's actually happening. I'm like, I see what's happening. Some of these guys will come on the scene hard because they're giving everything they got, and it never lasts. They always fall to the wayside so fast. Some of them don't even get to the pro ranks, and if they do, it's just grand opening, grand closing. So I'm like, huh. And then I'm watching the people and actually listening to the people who we thought were only about bodybuilding, right? And then you hear Rodney Coleman talk about, I took 4 months off, I ate whatever I want, I hang out with the family. You're like, but when you were watching his DVDs, you thought this was just like an all year thing because you know what I'm saying. So it's like, and then you hear all these
yeah,
guys say it. You might hear Brand say it, this guy, and you're like watching them train. You just assume like they just living this shit every day. They don't care about nobody else. No, they had balance. They
yeah,
all had balance. The ones who were overly into it and took it so emotional, they're not the ones who won. I don't want to call names, but just going by what I've
Yeah,
seen, they're the ones who were just kind of bitter and scorn about it, and
right. And then
not.
that spirals them negatively when it doesn't go their way. Because it's the other thing that happens too. I get sick of this. I'm going to debunk this right now. Bodybuilding is not a selfish sport, and y'all can be mad at me if you want. You might just be a selfish person. Okay.
Mm, yeah.
So the bottom line is this: I have done my very first show I did. I had a baby on the way. She was born right before the show. Like she was a couple weeks old when I stepped on stage for the first time. I never dropped a single duty. I took care of my household, my family, extended family needed me, and I showed up for. Like I did all the
Right.
things, and then came in natural at that point, peeled to the bone actually at that show. Right,
Mm-hmm.
couldn't pose to save my life, but brought it,
Mm-hmm.
and my life has only gotten more challenging since then. So it's
Yeah.
like the irony is when you invest in those relationships, when you invest in your mental emotional health, it returns that back to you, especially in those last probably 4 to 6 weeks of prep where the cortisol is high, you stressed about all kinds of stuff. You need more help from other people. Like you need a circle to lean on. That's actually going to end up benefiting you more
Hundred
getting
percent.
closer to showtime. So I'm like, don't get caught up in this. Well, I got to shut down my whole life. I can't go. I'm single right now, but like I can go on a date night with my lady. Like my kids gonna always get my time. Y'all can just chalk it up. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like always my daily morning rhythms. I get up in the morning and do my Bible study every day. Like that's not going to change because those are the things that made me and put me in the position to be here to begin with. Those are the driving factors behind me. You know what I'm saying? Like my kids, they told me you're going to win this show. Matter of fact, I told myself, I said, well, guess we don't got a choice now. Like,
But
so
it takes some maturity and learning to get to that point though. There was a
it
time
does.
where I felt like the earlier the better. The earlier you used to start bodybuilding as a teenager, the earlier better. And now I'm like, it doesn't matter because you only really get it and get good when you get the emotional maturity you need. Before
Yep.
that, you might get lucky because you have good genetics and do better than you should, but that shit fizzles out until you reach that next level of like enlightening and understanding who you are as a man first. None of it actually matters. The rest doesn't even matter, So I
Right.
remember really early on in the podcast, I still wasn't there yet. I thought I was there, but I was almost there. I wasn't there yet. And we were talking about kids in bodybuilding. And I'm like, there's no way. If you have kids, you could never be your best. I would never put myself in a position, whatever. And then Stu, at the time, Joe didn't have a kid, but Joe, he didn't agree with me, and neither did Stu. And I'm like, what are y'all talking about? And Stu's like, think about it. What if you did construction? You're not even home. But I'm like, this is true. And then also like, yeah, but what about the focus? You're not really there mentally. He's like, if you think if you've been working construction 10 hours, you come back home, you mentally are so aware. No, it's even worse because you're not home at all. You're not home at all and you come back and you're still out of it. Right. So at least in
Mm-hmm.
bodybuilding, more than likely you have more time. Well, we were more talking about full-time bodybuilders though. At
Right.
least
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
there present. Yeah. Even if you're not all the way there mentally, at least you have one of the two, you're physically there. Right. Whereas
Correct.
the average of working American isn't going to be there mentally or physically half the time. My
Exactly.
dad was barely home because he got to get some bread, right? And it's like, so it's not really an excuse. I think maybe some of us think we're too special. Like, right, like you said, it's up to you to be selfish.
Mm-hmm.
You can be like, I think this is more important than my family, so I'm gonna choose to put this over my family. That's a choice. You don't have to do that. Nobody has
Mm-hmm.
to do that. And realistically, if you can't be a grown man while bodybuilding, you probably have no business bodybuilding.
You probably have no business bodybuilding. That's the thing I tell people all the time. Listen, if those important people in your life, because look, philosophy on life, two things are most important is going to be relationships and experiences you have with the people you share relationships with.
Mm.
Period. Like nothing else in this world. Bodybuilding will come and go. What's a long, good bodybuilding career as a pro? 10 years. Like, you know
Mm.
what I'm saying? Maybe
Yeah.
15 if you like a Dexter or somebody, right? Which is a rarity. What's happening all around that before and after that window of time, those are the things that are going to matter the most to you at the end of the day. And if it costs me those things, then the cost is too high. What I have found is it doesn't cost you those things. And Kobe Bryant said it best, rest in peace, Black Mamba. He said, people say don't put your eggs all in one basket. I say put them all in one basket and create more eggs. Now I'm gonna put that into get more eggs. What that means though is increase your mental and emotional fortitude. And that's just practice and repetition. How much can you handle in a day? Start off maybe not committing as much time into the gym. And maybe you got to get in and get out of there and get home, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you can show up. But what I have found is this, and people at my gym would even tell you, Jojo, he's a men's physique pro here at our gym. He'd be like, this guy's over here rolling around on the floor playing with kids 2 weeks out from the show. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, not, I don't feel like crap like everybody else. My legs feel heavy. I'm tired. My sleep is crap right now. I made a commitment though that I'm gonna show up for the kids, right? And I'm still gonna eat my meal and I'm still get my cardio, and it's not gonna feel great, but I've developed the mental and emotional fortitude to still give all the energy to all the places that matter. You just gotta show up and make it happen. But that's a
Mm-hmm.
decision on your part. And you will have to, as you said, mature and grow into that. And maybe that takes you a couple of years before you hit that epiphany, but you can do it.
Yeah. When I was actually all in, so I started bodybuilding. I thought it was like at the time I thought it was like super late because I was just comparing myself to other people. So my first show was at 23. In my head, I'm like, oh, this is so late. Oh, these people are starting at 15. 23 isn't fucking, fucking
Not at all.
late, you know? But when I had some early success. You have good shape, whatever. You diet a little bit. You can win these local shows pretty easy if you have good enough genetics, right? So it started like that. Okay, now okay, I'm getting to the national level now. I got to really be all in. Once I did that all in shit, I got worse, bro. I literally got worse because from the outside looking in, you'll be like, why is this guy never in shape? I actually was too obsessed with shape that I would be in shape like 6 weeks out. By the time I hit the stage,
Hmm.
I would be so flat and run down. I would look like shit. The way you can tell is this: some body parts are cross-straighted, feathered, and some body parts look like loose skin. That's when you know that somebody isn't fat. They're just too far the fuck gone, you
Yeah.
know. And then
Yeah.
finally, last year, even when I'm with a coach, because Compton coached me a lot of shows, John Ray coached me, I'm still doing more than they tell me to. Compton had me like two and a half. He didn't want to go over, I think, 2 hours, maybe 15 minutes. But I was doing 3 hours of cardio. Sometimes I would do more, you know. And it's just that because in my head, I'm like, it's still not there. By that point,
Yeah. You go.
if you got 3 hours of cardio, man, I don't know what to tell you, bro. You might as well stop the prep at that point. That's how I feel now,
Yeah.
But yeah. And then last year, finally, I'm like, listen, this is the crossroads for me. I don't know if I actually want to do this again, but this is what I'm gonna say. I'm like, okay, what's the pros and cons? If I don't do the show, I'm still gonna be on diet. I'm still gonna work out. So I'm like, I guess it's not really taking
Right.
away anything, as long as I do it in a way I'm comfortable with. So I'm gonna say, okay, so that's it. I won't take anything that makes me feel how I don't want to feel. I won't I won't do anything that's gonna take me out of being able to work and provide and do whatever my obligations are, right? And then that's the only way I'm going to compete. So I did it. If I get to a point in prep where I physically can't work or take care of what I got to take to, I won't do it.
Hmm.
At the time I was rescuing and rehoming dogs, I had about 4 to 6 dogs with me at all times. I'm like, if I
Yeah.
can't take care of these dogs, feed the dogs, I won't. So I just did it week by week. Are you doing the show? I don't know. I don't know. By like 8 weeks out, I was locked in enough to know I was doing the show, but nothing changed. My cardio
Right.
was basically, I was so busy that I didn't really have too much cardio because
Right. You get
I'm
crazy
lazy.
steps in.
Yeah. And then it was my best look by far. So now I'm like, not only is doing it the way I'm comfortable with, the only way I'm able to do it, it's actually the best way to do it.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Look, see, me and my coach, he old school coach, been around for a while, and we
Who's your
have a
coach, by the
very
way?
open. Roland Gonzalez at the Muscle Factory. Again, shout out there in San
Okay.
Antonio, Texas. So, uh, real great guy. Roland's one of the best people you'll ever meet. Everybody in the gym definitely admires him. But he's real old school. And so a lot of his stuff, he's like got to push extra amount of cardio. He likes to carve up on rice. That's not, I don't eat rice like that. I'm a sweet potato guy. We had to make a lot of transitions working together. But I was like, for this prep, I did 3 sessions of cardio a day, but they were all pretty short. So I did
Mhm.
like a 25, 30-minute walk in the morning that was just part of my personal time. There's like a sunrise that I go watch in the morning after I do my morning devotionals. So I walk up there, take it in for a second, walk back. That's usually between 25 and 30 minutes. Then I would do post workout cardio for 25 minutes. Then I would do evening cardio after I was done with my last meal for 25 minutes. Or I
Mhm.
think that one was 30. And it ended up being like an hour, 15 minutes total cardio, right? But breaking it up like that was less mentally fatiguing on me than sitting in one
100%.
spot for X amount of time. And that just made the world of difference. So he was like, the way your body's responding, just keep doing your walks in the morning, and I'll add the cardio in somewhere else, to make it fit. And so that's what we did. And I came in the best shape I've ever been in, right? And then we reduced cardio at the end. And that's obviously the least amount of cardio I've done for any prep, except for maybe my very first one, whenever I was much smaller and natural. But
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, so you really do like have to set in a system that works for you to make it work. And again, if there's no way possible for you to do that, then maybe this isn't for you. And I'm not saying that harshly, but like it should not break you down. You shouldn't have to hate this to be good at it.
And that's exactly what happened. The way I was prepping that I thought was the right way. And this is not, it had nothing to do with coaches. It could be, this is before, after, during coaches. This is a me thing. That's another thing when it comes to this coaching thing. The coaches getting blamed, athletes getting blamed. It's always, I could say it's both of you, but it has to be you. So if you don't agree
Yes.
with something, don't do it and then be mad. Maybe just don't, right? Don't like, I remember, what was that coach I was working with the girls? I forget his name, but the one that the girls, all the bodybuilding girls was mad. Yeah, he made me do this, and then I'm like, damn well that's not a good idea. But you also went to him knowing his reputation,
Right.
so don't flip the script. If you're not comfortable, don't do it. If my coach tells me do something I'm not comfortable with, I'm just not. I'm a grown ass man. Oh, I have to do it. He told me to.
That's my exact thought right there, though. Like, look, me and my coach, again, we have a very open dialogue. I love this about because I'm a coach too. So I'm like, it's like I don't know what
Right.
I'm doing.
Yeah,
so, so when we
yeah,
talk, I would stop and I would just be like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. This is where I think we're gonna fall. This is my thought process on XYZ. Now, I will give him veto power because why else do I have a coach?
exactly.
But but I will definitely have the full conversation with him about why I agree or disagree with whatever we're doing. And if he still goes, hey, I hear you, but I want you to try this, then I'm gonna go, okay. But now I am going to hold him accountable for what happens because, like, if we disagree, the beauty of it was me and him also very seldom ever disagree about anything, so that's a plus. Um,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it came from the conversations because I mean I'm the person who's going to be like, I woke up and he going to send my check-ins. My coach, he's real like short unless he has something specific to say. It'll be like,
yeah.
got your picks weight, thumbs up, whatever. If to him that means you're on track. If you need something
That's
else, you
it.
better ask him. You better, and some days I'll be like, Coach, look, I'm a low maintenance client, but like, am I tripping or do I look soft here? Am I tripping or do I look leaner here? And he'd be like, nah, this is what I'm seeing. Boom, bet, move on. Like, but I do have the conversation. You can never just blame the coach when you, at the end of the day, get to make decisions for your own life. You know what I mean? But a good
Exactly. Yeah.
coach will also take some of it on the chin for you because they want to see you succeed. You see what I'm
Exactly.
saying? That's how we ended up doing North Americans actually. So we did USA's, right? We actually peaked like 6 p.m. the day before. Like that was our best look. So
Mhm.
when I woke up, I was flat as all get out. And we was like in a crunch to try to fill out. Coach was like, we like to do clean foods, but like go to IHOP across the street from the hotel, grab some pancakes and syrup, no additional fluids. We add water later, whatever. And we hit the mark again for like an hour. But then we didn't get on stage in an hour. So by the time we got
Mm.
back on stage, I'm a little flat now. And I'm like, well, dang, we missed the mark. He felt really responsible for that. And he said, okay, if you can I'll get the B&B or whatever. If you can just get to registration for the show and everything and get there, I'll handle like where we're staying. I'm gonna have you right next to me the whole time anyway, so I can see you nonstop.
Your
And I was
coach.
like, yeah. And that made me recommit to him where I was like, okay, if you take it on the chin, I wouldn't blame him to begin with, honestly. Like it was our first time really, really peaking together because our regional show we didn't even peak. No disrespect. But like, whatever. And then but like he did that. I was like, you know what? I like the way you're doing that. I don't blame you at all, by the way, but I appreciate you taking some responsibility for making the decisions that led us there. So like, I'm on your team. Let's do this. And so we made it happen. Like I said, we came in leaner, but we were super flat, but we did get a better placing. And this year we pulled it all together.
So the same thing we said about the athlete and having perspective and being a grown man on life, the same applies for the coach.
Mm-hmm.
I want a coach who has perspective as well. There was a time where I wanted the hungry coach, the coach that's hungry for these wins and pro cards but sometimes that's not in the best interest of the athlete because they're more concerned about their business than the athlete, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say I was with Compton. This was right before COVID happened. I have asthma. I had bronchitis as a kid. I have respiratory issues. I had pneumonia. Boom, I was in the hospital with the coma, everything. Of course, me at the time being, how old was I? Maybe 26. I'm at the hospital. First, I'll be, hey, let's go. Let's prep, coach. Let's go right back into prep. He's like, nah, ain't no prep, brother. Ain't no prep, brother. I gotta see that ejection fraction. I gotta see all that, whatever. I didn't do a show until like a full year later.
Mm-hmm.
At that age, you don't understand how much time you have. So you're like, a year? What the fuck? But a year is nothing, bro. It's
It's
fucking is
not.
over in a blink,
It's
you
a drop
know?
in the bucket, yeah.
So to him, same he coaches Joe as well with the kid thing. Like, okay, make sure everything's good at home. The wife signs up. He's making sure you handling the grown man shit first before. Some people don't like that though. Some people they'll go get another coach because they don't want to hear less drugs or more time off or focus on your family, focus on your health. You know, I gotta be honest, at the time at 26, I didn't want to hear that shit neither. But I respect Compton enough. First of all, I didn't want to hire a different coach, and I was, so I respected him enough to listen, But
Right.
you don't really want to hear that, but you need to. That's why. What if I had a coach that was like, yeah, let's do it, let's get this W. I don't know what would have happened to me. Shit, I'll be a colostomy bag by now. I don't know what the fuck would have happened to me.
No, so
So
you just never know.
yeah, so we both need that perspective. Okay,
You
but
definitely
okay,
do. I was coaching a client at nationals as well, actually. So we were both competing on the same day. He was a middleweight bodybuilder. So he ended up in third. He just barely missed his pro card. So that was disappointing for us. But honestly, the transformation he made was crazy. So we were still happy with the outcome altogether. Um, it was times where it was literally like he was having to tell me, like, Coach, you got to still worry about what you're doing, right? Like, you're competing today too. And I'm like, yeah, but you're my responsibility. Like, I'm responsible to me, but
mhm.
like, I owe you something because I said I was going to come here and make you your best. I'll take care of mine, I promise. But like, there's times where even if it's just a small thing, it's like, look, I got to send check-ins, but I need to see you first. I need to see you eat. Like, I got to tell you what to eat first, real quick. So like,
Yes,
you
sir.
come in here and pose real fast, so we can make sure you get right or whatever and stuff. So like, I do think that's a communal thing. You got to find the right kind of tribe around you, but that's what we kind of working with here.
Yeah, that's smart. But yeah, I wanted to get more into. First of all, okay, you alluded to earlier that you had taken some time off, and then I had
Yeah,
saw this. This is you. Boom! I saw this video.
yeah,
So explain to me how we got to this point. What's going on
yeah.
here?
So in 2020, um, I lost my grandmother, my mom, and my little brother. They all passed away that year.
Oh, sorry to hear
Um,
that.
Yeah, and I also had two siblings living with me, and I had a baby on the way. And let's just say that the life got to be a little too much. And I was like, okay, I got to take care of my family first. I don't even want to get up and go to work, get up, brush my teeth, let alone get up and prep for a bodybuilding show.
Mhm.
That's going to cost me more money than I can afford to share right now because I got to take care of all the other people and things, funeral expenses, just whatever, life. Mind you, too, in 2020, like all of us lost our jobs for a little bit, all of us trainers, like the gym shut
Uh-huh.
down for a minute. So like I had to go find another job, like maybe two jobs actually, to make sure I could cover everything. So it kind of spiraled me into a bit of a depression. I don't like to get too dramatic about that, but like it was like,
Oh
yo.
yeah.
So for the next couple of years, man, I was like eating whatever, working out when I felt like it, if I felt like it. Oh, and I started to gain this weight. And it get to a point when those pictures were taken, actually, I actually walked up, saw myself in the mirror. It was like, what the hell? How did you get to this point, and I was like, no, this got to change. Now, mind you, when I said it, it wasn't an immediate change because you'll see here it's 2022 at 334 pounds, and then March of 2023, I'm still like 324. But that just came from me making more choices on moderation. I got a little more active, and so I did lose some body fat and stuff in that window of time. And then I went to find a coach. Um, Went to Roman at the Muscle Factory. He wasn't the first person I talked to, but when I talked to him, he was the first coach that was like, you know what? I see that you have the potential. I see some muscle there that's, hidden underneath all of that. We can make this happen. And I just need somebody who's going to believe in me. And I was like, I'll be the best client you ever had. So we hit the ground running, and we had to go through a cut first to start a
Oh yeah,
bulk to then start a prep.
for sure,
So
for sure,
it
for
was a
sure.
process. But from 23, like February or March of 23, all the way to, summer of 24, we made a ton of progress. So
Hey, was your coach able to see the potential through this, or you was already down a little bit?
I was down to 324. So the first official
Oh, okay,
check-in
okay,
for those you see, is what he actually saw first. So it was that one.
okay,
That's
okay,
what he
okay.
saw.
I can see that. Okay, I can see that more because the
Right.
first one, I'm like, yo, he got quite the eye if he could. If he could.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No. I tightened it up a little bit and got back in the gym a little bit before I got back to him. But it was just one of those things too where I was like, okay, that's enough. Enough's enough. Like life is hard. It sucked. Like you kind of gotten over the major brunt of it. You gotta at some level you gotta will your way through the rest. And so I
Ooh,
I
oh
I,
man.
I sat there and I said, okay, and this is always I'm gonna keep emphasizing this every time somebody see me online somewhere. My walk with God has always been pretty solid. And so I was like, okay, God, I'm ready to do this, but I'm gonna need you. Like I'm gonna need you in a way that I've never needed you before because I gotta get out of this slump. I can't let this be the example I'm giving to my kids. This can't be how my story ends at this place. You
Hmm.
gifted me with too many things, and I would be ungrateful to not get up and make the best of it. So I need you to help me with this. And I mean, I literally remember I was telling some of my friends and people around me, I was like, I'm almost over the hump. And when I get over the hump, guys, I'm putting the gas to the floor. Like it's on and popping. Let's do this. And I remember hitting the ground running. As soon as I gave my first meal plan, we started killing it. So
It's so much you said there, right? Um, there's a time, or there was a time for me. I'm gonna speak for myself. There was a time where when people talk about depression or anxiety or all of this, I didn't even know what that meant. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm just life every day, one day at a time. Oh, you gonna find out what that
you'll
is
find it.
eventually.
It'll get
you
you eventually.
you won't see it coming. You won't know what it is. It's gonna hit you, and you're gonna be sitting there like, oh, this must be rock bottom. It ain't there yet. Wait for it. It's coming,
Yeah.
and then it'll hit you, and you like, God damn. And you sitting there, you like, yo, I ain't trying to be dramatic, but I don't know if I want to be here, bro. I don't know if I
No.
can be here. Honestly,
Seriously.
you know, you said,
Seriously.
what the fuck do I do? I can't even I can't even stand up right now. I don't know what do I do, bro? Like what where do I go from here? And it's not easy. Like you don't snap your fingers and you out of it. It's
No,
going.
no. It's a process, though. It's a day by day thing where you gotta train yourself to find the little victories.
Yeah,
Like you said, man, there were days I literally was like, I don't want to get up and brush my teeth. I don't want to get up and take a shower. I don't want to get up and eat. I don't want to do nothing.
yeah,
Like, and the goal is I gotta pee real bad. So when I get up and go to the bathroom right now,
yeah,
I'm gonna go brush my teeth.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and I'm gonna give myself a little check on the day because that's better. You know what I'm saying? And slowly building yourself out of that. But like I said, it was also just prayer constantly. Like, Lord, give me the fortitude and strength. I got to get out of this. Like, I don't like how I feel. I don't like how I look. I don't like nothing about myself right now. We got to get out of this. And men specifically, we don't spend time talking about this. We be the main ones dealing with it because we be the ones trying to go and just work our way through everything.
I don't. Some people think it's a social thing. I don't. For me, I don't think it's so. I think it's just how my brain is wired. I was. I was so scared for anybody to know that I had any struggles. I didn't want nobody to know how hard. I don't want nobody to know anything. I just get, and then eventually, I don't know if it breaks you or you break it, but you get over it. And the ego, you just let go of the ego and the pride. And you're like, man, I mean, of course, you got some self respect and shit. I'm not saying that,
Yeah.
but you just like at this point, I gotta figure something out, and I might have to talk to some people. I might have to admit this to. I might have to let my family know. I might have to because I can't do this myself. Loki,
No,
you
yeah.
like you would like to believe so, and you've believed so until this point. And you're like, okay, I think I hit the point where this might not be able to be done alone. You bring up religion. That's another thing. Religion, spirituality, that's to some extent I understood it, you know, but I didn't understand how people got so deep into religion and spirituality. I'm like, I think I'm good. Okay. When like I said, you get to a point you need help. All kinds of help. Whether you're physical,
Hmm.
mentally, emotional, or spiritual, whatever, you need help and you can't do it by yourself. So I think
Hmm.
that's where you make more of that connection. Like, okay, what regardless of what I believe in, I'm gonna need to figure out what the fuck I believe in quick because
You got to establish something.
this ain't gonna work. This is not working. This is just so something needs to change because I'm gonna need some help for this. And then that's I think that's when you really become a man because until then you're a grown adult. But did you really figure it out? No. It also helps you to deal with it in the future. Now you're probably at a
Yeah.
point something like that hits you. Yes, it sucks, but you can compose yourself, and you're
Hmm.
confident that you will make it through. Yes, you know it's gonna suck, but you know that you know what I'm confident in my abilities and my belief that I will see it through. Where at that first time you didn't know if you was gonna make it through. You was like, I don't.
Facts.
At this point, I'm not saying I give up. I haven't given up yet, but I gotta be honest with you. I don't know how this is gonna
I,
end.
I don't see the light nowhere.
There's no
Like
light
straight up.
because you will see a little
Yeah.
bit of light and boom, and you're like, damn, I think I'm a good person. I'm trying my best. The fuck did I do? I don't know what the fuck went wrong. I think I'm a decent person,
No.
you
Yeah.
know. But
And that's the thing, man. Because like, again, I've been a Christian my whole life, so I've always had a relationship with God. But it was interesting what He cultivated in me through this process, because it wasn't just that I lost loved ones and had all the other responsibilities. It was like my relationship with my son's mother fell apart.
oh
Then it
yeah,
was my best friend kind of abandoned me for his girl. Like was a whole crazy thing. Like, and his whole family who was like my second family. Like his mom, I probably saw his mom more than he did during this window of time, honestly. But it was
yeah,
like she was like my second mother. My mom had just passed, and like I just fell out with everybody. Like I was no longer close to anybody. I didn't have anybody to turn to. Me, my siblings don't talk right now. So I'm still kind of going through the back end of some of that, where God had stripped me down to nothing, or maybe not God doing it, but what He did was, in light of that, He said, even though this is painful, if you learn to lean on me, I can still sustain you through all those things. And I will still guide you to your tribe. You will still find your people. Like if those people who didn't stick around through the hard times, that's okay. You will get people who will. But in the meantime, depend on me. I got you.
yeah,
Right. And so it's like, in a lot of my posts, I say stuff like "we made it through," and people are like, "Who is we?" I mean, like I'm like me and God. Like if it was nobody else, it was me and God. Like I
yeah,
never put responsibility on my kids. They were real young, so obviously they weren't responsible for anything. So like I had to make it between me and God so that they would still be managed and okay, right? So it was all of that. So oftentimes it is a realization of like every difficult time actually is a pruning process for you. And you can now, in hindsight, because I didn't feel this way at the time, like you said, but in hindsight, look at it and go, look at what all was built in me out of that. Like, did Devon still win nationals the way he did if not for the hardship that made him into that man who strengthened him in that way to fortify him that way? Maybe not. You see what I'm saying? So I've learned that when things start to get hard, I lean into them a little bit, you know? Like, in fact, I'm going to give a quick plug too. These are my shirts, Embrace the Impact, is what they say.
that's fire.
And what it means is when things get difficult, instead of running away from the pain of it, lean into the pain of it and understand what could this be building and making with me so that it can cultivate you and mold you into who you're supposed to become. Because hard things are going to happen to everybody. Like you said earlier, like maybe you don't understand depression today, Your time will come. And when it does, let me offer the advice in advance and go, listen, it's going to be hard, but think about in the moment, how can you make me better for later? And it'll give you a little bit of silver lining so that you never get that light completely stamped out. You see what I'm saying? So I want to give that little tidbit out there for those people who may have not have gone through that just yet.
Hey man, I watch these debates. I forget the channel. I don't even think I follow the channel, but it pops up. But it'll be like the crazy debates. It'll be like this person versus damn, what's it? I think it's Jubilee actually. Jubilee. They do some fitness stuff too, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was, I think it was in this particular episode, it might have been Christians versus atheists or some shit like that, right?
Oh man.
And and then the point he was hitting at is like basically, why does bad shit happen, or why does God make bad shit happen? So, and then the guy is like, yeah, but bad is an opinion. What do you consider bad, right? A family died or something, or they, like you said, at the time, it's impossible to feel like anything good can come out of any kind of tragedy. You're like, but this is all, everything about this is bad. Whether my wife divorced me, I lost my kid, this is all bad. There's no positive, but it's all perspective, right? Who's to say what's good or bad? Because now in hindsight, anything that I felt was like a terrible thing is made me so much better and put me so much far ahead. It's hard to call a tragedy positive, and I won't actually call it positive, but I see the benefits that it did to me as a person. So it's like, who's to actually say what's good or bad? It's just things. It's just things.
Things
It's
are
just
just happening.
exactly.
Like,
It's not happening to you, for you, against you. It's just happening. And however you look at it is up to you. Because now I can say, like you talk about, okay, you have your tribe, your friend, your family, whatever, and you lose that tribe. You feel like you lost everything. But then you realize that wasn't really the tribe. It wasn't really my tribe that I thought. And then you get this new tribe. You might not even be related by blood,
mm-hmm.
but you like, okay, this, now that I feel, now I know what the tribe is supposed to feel like, right?
Right.
Same thing.
You would have never known.
Yeah, same thing. I remember, made a lot of money, lost it all. How can that be positive? How can that be positive? And now I'm like, oh, well, I won't lose it again because all the shit I learned. And why did I lose it? It's my fault. Like what God made me lose, it is my fault. I didn't have the tools.
Yep.
Okay, was there a lot of bad shit that happened that maybe was partially out of my control? Maybe, but there's so much that was in my control that I didn't do right. I didn't know any better. I had to
Mm-hmm.
lose it. I had to feel that pain for it to not happen again the way it did. It's
Correct.
it's it's all just things happening. I think we look at it like these bad things are happening to me. It just happened. It can make you better if you allow it to, or you can just be negative about it, nigga. So things could seem so bad, but it just is. I can't tell you what's good or bad. That's up to you.
Yeah. I just want to give a little tidbit on that too, because I do practice some apologetics, which is like biblical debating. But the point of the matter is this: God gave us all free will, because without free will, there's no true relationship with God. But that's also why many principles of scripture are things like patience, kindness, love, long suffering, like things that are fortitude, are building you to be able to bear and handle things. It's also why he says, those who wait patiently on me will renew their strength. There's a process of going through hard times because we have free will, and we will put ourselves through bad things that he
Yeah,
needs us to be able to make it through. But B, we sometimes fall subject to someone else's free will to do a bad thing. You see what I mean? You
exactly.
know, in the same way that God won't strip you of your free will, he won't strip them of their free will. But what he will do is he's built in systems for us to then be able to bear and make it through the situations from maybe our own bad choices or the bad choices of the other person. And that's why I say lean on him was so important. Now, again, to each their own on their whole faith walk, but Jesus is who I believe in. And when I talk about the verses where it says like, um, he says, before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you. He only understood the things you were going to go through, how you were going to manage those things. And he said, listen, I have a perfect path for you to walk on, but you're imperfect. And so are the people around you.
Yeah,
So what I'm going to do, this whole book, this whole 66 long book love letter was me giving you opportunity to learn how to make it through those stumbling blocks and get back as close to the track that I have for you as possible. Because
Yeah.
I can't impose that on you, and I don't want to impose that on you, but I also can't force that other person to do right by you either. What I
Hmm.
will do though is I'll put those other good people in your path so that when you lose the other ones, you will come across the right ones. Right? Those are all things that are built in. He has these buffers for us. So I tell people often, like, God doesn't make anything bad happen to you, but he always does offer an opportunity to get through the storm and get out of the bad situation.
Well, shit, it's like having kids. You got kids, right? You want the best for your kids. You teach them everything they need to know, arm them with all of this. But guess what? You know that you can't control them, can't control the people around them. So they're gonna go off into the world, and they still gonna learn the hard way. But they're gonna remember. I remember my father saying, do this," and I'm like, man, I don't. It means nothing at the time, but as you go through, it, you're like, oh, that's what he meant. Imagine now, at 33, I'm still remembering things that he told me at probably 9 years old because
Exactly.
it's stuck. It just you don't understand it until you get it, but you still have to prepare them. You can't just say he'll figure it
Correct.
out. He'll just leave it alone. But it's a balance. You do your best, but you still have to face it yourself, and you're gonna go through the good because
And
yes,
all of us do.
yeah, like you said, knew me in the womb. You knew your kids in the womb as well, and you were ready.
Yeah.
But there's still gonna be that the free will. They're gonna still go through all that free will, and that's how
Just
they.
prepare them the best you can.
But hopefully, everything you teach them, it goes hopefully smoother than it did for you. But it's just, it's just
Fingers
like
crossed, man. I do pray for that every day that they have it a
it's,
little easier than me, but like, who knows?
yeah. I guess that without the hardship, they just wouldn't be ready for life anyways. So
Correct.
you gotta have some of the hardship. So yeah, like you said, I don't actually look at hardship as hard anymore. You know, sometimes I try to take it on. Just okay, this is what it is. I'm gonna take it on because I'm more confident in myself now. If I made it this far, I guess I should be I guess I should be confident at this point because I'm like
You should, right?
yeah, I'm like, because that was difficult. If I made it through that, that was touch and go. I didn't think I was gonna make it. I made it. So, I feel a little more confident now. Let's go. What's next? Let's knock it out.
Facts.
Let's get there.
At the very least, I'd be like, Lord, don't give me nothing no hard. I'm good. I'm good. I don't want nothing no worse than that. I
Sometimes I
don't want
think
to
about that
learn
though.
no deeper lesson.
I'm like, I'm ready for it, but I still I don't want
Ooh.
it, but I'm ready for it. I guess I don't
Well,
know.
if it happens, we gonna get through it. But man,
Yeah, man, that gets rough.
for
All
sure.
right, but let's go to the bodybuilding.
Yeah.
When did you actually start? But before the comeback and everything, when did you actually start? And what
Yeah,
got
actually,
you?
to put a new video up, I started bodybuilding in 2017. I think I was actually 23 as well. I did my first show was the Lacquering Classic in San Antonio. I was classic physique. I was natural. And I was 204 pounds when I
Okay.
stepped on stage. Um,
Were you born
I,
92?
I 94. So I
Oh,
was,
younger than me. Oh
yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah, I'm 31 right now. And so that went down. I got second,
Uh-huh.
and the guy who beat me, and it wasn't by much in my opinion, but he definitely did win. But he was enhanced, and that was it for me. I said, we're not doing that.
Mm-mm.
Now, don't get me wrong. I had a couple PRs I wanted to hit in the gym first, but as soon as I hit them, let's go, run it. And so
Yeah.
ran my first cycle. It was real light. It still was a little reckless, I think. I don't mind sharing. It was 300 tests and 300 Trinace. And in six
Oh
months,
shit.
yeah, I know, right? Whatever. Different coaches at a different time. But I stepped on stage 6 months later at 224 pounds, so 20 pounds of stage weight. And I was like, well, I might have a little natural knack for this thing here, right?
Yeah.
Did a couple other shows, didn't do super well. And even at the show and that next one, like I lost all these shows. I mean, I think I didn't win one until 2019 when I was the only super heavyweight in the class. It was my best look to date. I had nobody to compete against, and I lost the overall, so I was pretty disappointing. Um, but I was prepping for one more show in 2019. I had a bad breakup with my daughter's mom, and then I was just like, I'm not doing this show. Like, I'm just not. I'm done. I'm over it. I'll come back next year. But then we all know about 2020, and everything got kind of shaken up from there. Um, So yeah, I started competing. That was my nationals this year was my seventh show, I think, eighth show. But I had that gap in between. But I started competing back in 2017. That was the first year I think Classic existed. So
Yeah. I think my first year competing was 2015 or 16, but that was right before Classic. So I mean, I don't know if I would have or not, but it probably would have made sense weight wise, you know.
yeah,
But there were a few things you said that I wanted to comment on. You mentioned that you said I felt like when there was a time where if somebody was like, from a coach's perspective, if I were like, oh, I had a bad breakup, I don't know about the show, or it could be anything, something they're going through, they don't know about the show. I used to try to like convince them, yeah, let's do the show anyways. That never worked out. And then
no,
now I'm the opposite. Once you tell me, I'm like, yep, let's shut it down. Because what you're telling me is you checked out mentally. Because I know how bad you want to do the show. Once you're checked out mentally, I don't even want your body to try to follow. Let's
yep,
fix this. Whatever this is, let's fix it. I don't want you even going into prep feeling like that.
nope,
So let's
yep,
stop it right here. Let's fix it. I do this with my friends too. My friends come to me with something. I used to be like, "Oh, are you sure? It's only a few weeks." But I don't care if it's 2 days out at this point. If you thought it was serious enough, you called me or text me to tell me about this.
facts,
I don't give a fuck about no show. What's going on with you? Yeah, let's talk. Yeah, fuck all that. Let's fix this. You know,
yep, yep.
because you always can do another show. If you lose your mind, the fuck why we're not
It's
doing
not
that.
worth it.
You know.
Not worth it.
And then honestly, I don't even think the look is going to reflect.
No,
That's
it
a lot
won't.
of it.
The cortisol gonna spike. You're gonna spill. Then you're gonna do some crazy diuretic protocol to try to fix it. You're gonna look bad either way. Then you're gonna feel worse. Then you're
Mhm.
gonna be twice as depressed than she
Yeah,
was a second ago. So yeah,
exactly,
no, just let it go. It's okay. Bodybuilding will still be there.
exactly. What initially got you into bodybuilding, and who were some of the people that you looked up to getting into it?
So I was an athlete my whole life, and in my freshman year in college, after I decided that I was no longer going to go to school because I didn't want to study criminal law anymore. uh, I was like, okay, well, what am I going to do? Because I mean, I don't have an excuse to lift no more. I'm not playing football because I was a preferred walk on at Texas State University.
Mhm.
But I'm not playing football no more. I'm not going to be in school. What am I going to do? And I started transitioning my training style to like more bodybuilder s training. Um, I started to see things grow like my back because you don't train a lot of back in football and stuff. Like, okay, I'm liking how I'm looking. I'm getting complimented by people, and I kind of got into that. But I had a buddy, the same friend that I'm no longer close with, but he was a buddy of mine who was already getting into bodybuilding a little bit in Huntsville, and he was like, "Yeah, man, this is kind of the trajectory I'm on." And I'd already seen like Ronnie Coleman in magazines and on TV and stuff, looking nutty. I remember my first time seeing a Ronnie Coleman magazine. I had to be freaking six or something, like so, like 2000 or something like that. But I just saw spider webs going through these giant legs, and I was like, "Golly!" I said, "I want to do that." Not realizing you definitely couldn't do it natural, but I was just like, "Yeah." So when he said bodybuilding, I was like, "You know what, man? I think I can do that, and it keeps me lifting." And like, I would love to get on stage and look like that, bro. Like, let's make that happen. So as many other people, not to be cliche, Ronnie Coleman was probably the primary person I looked up to. But as I got into the sport, I started seeing more athletes compete. Um, I was a real big fan of like Kai Green, um, primarily because I really like not quite an eccentric, but I like the posing style, him being a little bit, out of the norm on that.
Mhm.
Real thick, dense lats, tissue, like striated lats was just crazy for me to see. Like that was nuts.
Insane, yeah.
Um, then of course, people like Dexter, who just looked good year round. Dude was just peeled all the time, like
Yeah.
real aesthetic look. Those are some of the people that I really looked at the most that were like inspiring me to get into bodybuilding. But I've always kind of been this individual, independent person that's like, I really just want to be better than all of them. Like, so they sparked the interest, but in my mind, I'm like, I just want to be better than that. So that's still higher in the day. I always respect the legends, but my goal is to kill y'all.
I mean, they did the same thing. They looked up to people, and then eventually they like, oh well, let's see if I could, get ahead. But you said Dexter. I thought it was funny because I used to see Dexter at Golds, and I remember people saying like, oh, he's not the biggest guy either. Well, yeah, he's not a big big guy, but he had a lot of fucking muscle. So I'm like, that's the not big guy they talk about.
Right, come
And
on now.
yeah, but then when I seen Rolly, I was like, oh, this that's
Yeah,
what
I
they
see what
talking
they
about.
mean.
Hey, he was still beating Rolly though, so it's all good. So it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
but
Facts.
like,
That's it.
yeah, it's like, listen, they all big motherfuckers. So when people
Yeah.
think about that, like right now, Derek is getting a lot of heat. I don't know if I've ever seen a Miss Olympia. We thought the Phil thing
Uh,
was bad. Derek is get. I didn't mind at first because I'm like, well, they just don't like his personality. It is what it is. But it's going too far. I think it's getting too far. A little bit of criticism, I'm like, it comes with territory. It is what it is. He'll be all right. I think it's way too overdone now. I
oh
just don't think
yeah.
it's fair. If he was like this really shitty person or whatever, like I'd be like, it is what it. But it's too much, bro. I don't. First of all, I don't actually. We talked about. I was on Ron Harris podcast. Everybody talking about he's fake. I'm like, do you know him? How would you know what's fake or real? You don't know him. You've never
So
spoken to
I
him.
do have an opinion about this because I do think he has not even meaning to, and I'm not even saying he did anything wrong. So I want to be
Hmm.
very clear about that. But
Yeah,
like he opened himself up to being criticized by both sides of the industry. And what I mean by that is because he was one persona where it was like, his faith walk, Jesus, everything else. And then he kind of played the heel a little bit, where it's like, I'm here to beat everybody who's coming in second type deal. That back and forth makes people that like the heel hate you,
that's what they
even
didn't
though they
like.
like you playing the heel. And then the people who like your good guy, thing, they hate you for the other side. Like, so you got criticism both sides, and people will always criticize more than they will praise. So
Sure.
he
Yeah.
he kind of opened himself up to that. And I don't think that makes him fake. I think that's a multifaceted human being
Yeah.
human. But I
I
would
think
say that,
I think you can have both sides of that as your personality, and I would go even far to say is that I think it's okay for people to dislike your personality if they just don't like what they see. It's more the amount of it or how personal people taking it is what's too much.
yeah,
Because okay, you can say when Nick says certain stuff, people are like, he's cocky, whatever. Yes, they say it, and some people don't like him, but they don't take it. They don't. They don't make it such a huge thing that's so personal. Some people just say, "Yeah, yeah, nigga's not my cup of tea," right? They don't internalize it and make it so personal that it's just nonstop. I think it's more the amount. I think
yeah.
everybody gets some amount of hate. Even Martin. Martin gets some hate, but I think this is just. It seems deeper. Doesn't it seem a little deeper?
Well, yeah, it does seem deeper, but I still think I think it's the inconsistency on
Okay,
Derek's part.
I see what you're
Like
saying.
I said, because Nick has been
Nick.
cocky ass Nick nonstop.
Yeah, yeah,
Ain't shifted off of that a square.
yeah.
Like, and so because of that, people get, because it's the bottom line, man. Like in an inauthentic world, authenticity is what is going to draw people for the better or for the worse. But what
Yeah.
happens is if you're consistently like the heel, I can still respect that even if I don't like it.
It's
Because you
like
stand
okay,
at 10 toes.
it's like
Yeah.
Nathan Diashe could say anything he wants because you expect it. So if Nathan says something, he won't get any heat because they'll be like, "Oh, Nathan he keeps for the bug."
Nathan being Nathan. That's what he always do.
I see what you say. You're saying
That's
people
all
don't
it is, I
like the.
think.
Yeah, yeah. I
And
think
again, I'm not saying he's wrong for that. Like, I think it's just like unfortunate, you know?
yeah, yeah. Here's the thing. I think people are multi. You said multifaceted. I think people are. I think to some extent, at some times, I think he's more careful with how much of his personality he shows, but I think that worked against him.
Yes, it did. Because that's what
Yeah,
makes him seem fake. Not that he is, but that reservation, we all felt it. So
I
people
think
was
that's what
like,
it is.
what are you, now you're put on the act. Why aren't you just being you?
Exactly. I would say there's one podcast. I think it was with damn, now I can't remember who he was with on the podcast. It might have been with damn, I just can't remember. I'm gonna have to look it up. There was one podcast that I felt like I saw all of Derek. Just he was just relaxed. He wasn't like he wasn't in professional mode. He was just Derek. And I thought it. I don't even know if people seen it because if I can't even remember whose podcast it was, right? But I think a lot of people probably didn't see it. But I think that's what people wanted to see. I don't think people actually care that much if you're cocky or if you're
Nope.
religious or if you're. I think they just want it to be the same every time. And that part I understand. Like you say, I understand what you understand in that part too. Like I said, my thing is just the amount that confuses me. But I can understand people because I like for people to be real all the time as well. But I also understand that when you're in that position, I can be real all I want. When you're in that position, I can see why you would have some reservations. And I've heard things as well that I can see that you probably should have some reservations when you're the face because it can bite you on the ass. But
It
uh,
can.
people
Let's
are
keep in
like,
mind, he's also been winning. People are
that's
like,
true.
when you're doing well, oh yeah, the target's on your back, period. Like, so that's also part of it. But something I actually said on a recent podcast I did actually was this. I said, but keep this in mind too. Like Derek's a young man. We just talked about growing into our manhood. Like people that are trying to find their own walk, how they want to present, how they want to show the world who they are. Because this isn't normal. His stardom isn't normal where I could develop those things outside of the public eye. He's developing them while everybody's watching. You see what I'm saying?
Makes
And
it,
so
yeah.
I think there needs to be some grace given to him. Other people like him, like people give Quentin all this slack for I'm gonna coach myself. He's a young man who's trying to establish who he is as a man. All of us going through those same ages and ranks, we all know exactly what that feel like to be like, look, there's a certain part of me that's like, bump what everybody else got to say. I'm gonna do me, right?
100%.
You
100%.
know. So I need people to just chill on that a little bit. Let us develop into the men we're trying to be.
Yeah, sometimes you don't realize how young people are, and their life is changing in different ways pretty fast, right? Same for Martin. Martin has been
Yeah,
like there's things Martin have done that people haven't liked or thought it was too much or thought it was too. Martin is very young, and at first I'm kind of like, huh, I don't think he should have done that. I like Martin actually too. I consider him a friend.
yeah,
But then I'm looking at myself at 33. But if I looked at myself at 25, I
right,
was
right.
yeah, my emotions were different. Control emotions. I would have some outbursts here and there. I would, in real time, maybe I didn't notice it, but in hindsight, I'm like, you know what? It makes more sense. You can't compare somebody in the mid 20s to you in your 30s because you're different too. So when he's in his 30s, there's going to be a different way that he's going to conduct himself.
Correct.
So I think we have to be mindful of that. Even with athletes, I see there's 50-year-olds talking about what? How dare John Moran do that? Bro, you realize the guy is like 22, he's a child.
He's 22 years old, bro. He's
We,
yeah,
we know
he's
better.
barely grown. He can barely just be able to drink legally, dog. Like,
Like, of course we know better. Oh, he spent all his money. He got that girl pregnant. How dare? Yeah, imagine if you had 200 million at 21, you will be getting porn stars pregnant. Like what? It's you don't know any better. You don't understand
right,
anything. Yes, they're gonna look back one day and be like, oh my god, that's so embarrassing. What was I doing?
right.
They just weren't there yet. So I think yeah, we do have to be grateful for that, and everybody matures at a different level. Like yeah, if you're 21 and you don't have the means to do that, that's different. Or you don't have the spotlight, nobody sees
Right.
it, and there's only so much you can do if you don't have the financial freedom to do it. But they're
Right.
in different positions where it's being seen, and they're in these. So a lot of us can't even relate to that. So it's
Exactly. I
uh,
give grace to him.
yeah, so like I said, I can understand it, but I wish because it's our own industry, if we were just a little bit more nice and respectful to each other,
No,
like
they should be.
we could I wish we could just say like, I don't like Derek's biceps. I wish
and
he
more.
was just more. Yeah, I wish he was just a little more upfront and leave it at that, and not go so deep into just the constant berating, because that's still our Mr. Olympia champion. We could say the thing with the Sarah Villegas thing. Yes,
Oh
you didn't think you should have lost, whatever, but at some point it starts to be more negative for the entire industry more than
yeah,
anything.
correct.
It starts to make us all look bad,
It
and
does.
that's when it becomes too much, and it's kind of like, can we? Why can't we be positive for 2 seconds? This is a
That's
this is
it.
supposed it's supposed to be a positive thing, you know, and I don't know, but that's also us being at a certain maturity level and having a certain,
Right.
some people just aren't there yet. But I wish we could just chill out a little bit. That would be nice.
I agree.
Because yeah, but as far as I'm concerned, I mean, we don't have much to complain about. If we even have the means to be bodybuilding, we're doing okay.
You doing okay for sure.
Okay, all right, so. But boss man, let me not hold you too long. I have a client as well coming up. I thought that was good, man. I
Yeah, it
appreciate
was
you
good.
coming
Solid.
on. We gotta. I would love to have you back on with the squad as well.
Yeah, for sure. Just let me
Definitely.
know when.
We'll do, brother. We'll do, brother. Thank you, man. Congrats again,
All right.
brother. Congrats,
I
man.
appreciate you. Y'all be easy out here. I've been doing this lately, so bear with me. This is my MO. I'm not
Of course.
imposing on anybody, but if you don't know
Mhm.
Jesus, I encourage you to get to know him. If you don't know where to get started, hit me in my DMs. Again, my Instagram is IMD Fitness, or you can get me at Devon Barnes _Iron and Honor. And that's my podcast page. But you can find a link to that from my IMD Fitness page. Come hit me up, check me out, give me a follow, get in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about how I did the show.
What's the podcast called?
Iron Honor Podcast.
Okay, got
Iron and Honor. Yep.
you. Right. So yeah, send all that over to me, and I'll put it in the description box as well.
Gotcha.
All right, brother. You already know, chat.
All right. Yes, sir. Be. Peace.